Welcome everyone to Behind the Crafter, a new podcast where we will discuss everything related to Minecraft on YouTube and Twitch. My name is JD and you may know me as JayDeeMC. I'm a Minecraft YouTuber and Twitch streamer who specializes in both tutorials and Let's Plays. But I've also been making YouTube videos since 2009, just not always in the same niche. My Minecraft channel has been going since 2019 and is coming up on its 5th anniversary. I've been streaming on Twitch for 4 years now. I'd like to talk about what led to this podcast being started, as well as what to expect in future episodes. Feedback is always welcome, and your comments and questions may make it into the podcast. Most of the time, the podcast will be unscripted, especially when we have guests. It'll be conversational, so I hope it sounds like I'm having a conversation with you. To start off, I'm going to tell you a bit about the person behind the videos. That is about myself. I have a rather varied background. I'm from Canada, as you may know from looking at my About page. I have a degree in physics and astronomy, which is a totally different thing than what I'm doing now. I don't do anything related to that at all. I worked doing data entry as a tour guide, market research, and then I made the biggest decision of my life, and that was to go to Japan. So what I did there was I taught English, and I even met my wife, and we had a child there. And then we returned to Canada after 11 years. Now, my wife and my daughter, of course, are Japanese citizens. So they are from Japan, although my daughter can no longer speak Japanese. She's completely forgotten it. It's all English now. Now, when I returned to Canada, I actually got a job in my field of study doing planetarium shows, which was nice to do. So you see, a lot of what I've done in the past involves speaking in front of people, and that is something that I always had trouble with because I am absolutely an introvert. I am not the kind of person who would get up in front of people and speak with them or speak to them. Back when I was a student, that was one of the most nerve-wracking things I had to do. But when I became a teacher, I had to do that. It was something I always had to do. And then I was doing planetarium shows to groups of up to 50 people. But the thing is, everything was planned out. Everything was pretty much scripted, at least in my mind. So it was pretty easy for me to do that. When I'm doing Twitch streams, it's a little less easy. It's kind of difficult at times. Now, as for YouTube, YouTube started in Japan with a Japan vlog. But then when I returned to Canada, I switched to BookTube. And that was on the same channel. So I kind of pivoted that channel, which is not always the best thing to do. Quite often, your audience will not be interested in your new topic. So I also added a short-lived science channel and an English teaching channel that didn't go very far, but I would like to return to the English teaching channel sometime with short one-point lessons. But then, in 2019, I started my Minecraft channel. I'm currently working for a company that provides educational services to universities in the Commonwealth of Nations, and I specifically help students with academic writing, so I'm still in education. Now, as for my family, I currently have 2 kids, the older being the reason I play Minecraft. You see, I started playing Minecraft in 2017 with my daughter. What we did was we played a lot of those mini-games on the Xbox One Console Edition, and then we moved on to Bedrock Edition. And it's been a very eye-opening thing because Minecraft was a game that I always thought of as being low quality, kind of crappy, way back when it was still a fairly new game. I knew about it, but I thought I would love to play a game that is just like this, but not blocks. But here I am playing it now. Now, I started watching Minecraft videos on YouTube, especially the following 3 YouTubers. The first one was Kurt J. Mack, who is known for Farlands or Bust. And I really liked his style because he was just talking. It was almost like it could be a podcast itself, but he's just walking in one direction, trying to get to the Farlands. And I found a lot of his topics interesting, partially because he's also interested in astronomy. So that part I could relate to him. But it was very interesting to watch. But then I discovered some more. The next one was Fwip. This is back when he had 6,000 subscribers. He has come a long way. I would say my style is kind of similar to his. He is a planner. He plans these cities. He likes to plan. That is something I like doing too. He's great with just giving life, at least street life. Interiors he's not great at. He's also not good at redstone. He does a lot with tutorials. That's kind of like me. Even though I have a physics background, redstone is like electronics, right? Why shouldn't I be really proficient at it? I don't know. I really don't know. And then the third one was Mythical Sausage. And this is when he had about 35,000 subscribers. And I also like his style. He is very detailed. And his interiors are amazing. And that is one thing that really drew me to him and Fwip. I want to try to combine what they can do. Fwip's designing, being able to build cities and things like that, with Mythical Sausage, who has an amazing style, and he goes into the details very, very well. So these three were what started me on the road to making Minecraft videos. Unfortunately, my computer wasn't very good. I started on my laptop with a terrible mono mic and 20 frames per second frame rate in Bedrock Edition. The videos are still up on my channel. You can go back and take a look at my very first video. You may be surprised at the low quality. Now, about a year later, I got a gaming computer, and that gave me much higher quality videos. And that's when I started streaming on Twitch. So that is the start of my streaming career, which I'll talk a little bit in a moment. Now, my YouTube channel focused on Let's Plays to begin with. Then I joined the Adults Craft SMP. At the time it was called Adults Play Minecraft. And it was a Bedrock-based server. And then I started making the Easy Minecraft tutorial series, starting with how to get a dog out of a boat. It's an awful video, but it still gets views. A lot of my early tutorials, I really should remake. They're not very good. I talk way too much, and I don't really get to the point. Also, at the year mark, I changed the name of my channel. I was Dad Plays Minecraft, but I felt that was too generic and less personal, so I just decided to change it to JayDeeMC. So here we are, and I've stayed with that name ever since. So with the tutorials, that's when my channel started gaining traction on YouTube. I joined the partner program within 13 months of starting it, and now we're at 52,700 subscribers and nearly 17 million views. I'm also closing in on 900 videos. I never thought I'd be at this point. 5 years? I never really thought that I would get this far. To be honest, when I started my Minecraft channel, it was more of an experiment to see if I could grow a channel in a very saturated niche. And I've been able to a certain extent. I would like to go further, though, of course. Now, Twitch streaming is a bit different, as I started off strong thanks to the Adults Craft community, and I became an affiliate within 2 weeks. And then I almost completely stopped streaming when my second child was born. I simply couldn't dedicate uninterrupted time to it. I'm now back to streaming regularly now, but because of that 2-year gap with little content, I have to rebuild my audience. A lot of them have moved on or no longer watching Twitch. Now, the idea for the podcast started probably about 2 or 3 years ago. I didn't know how I wanted to do it or what the format was, so it just sat there stewing in my mind for all that time. But what I came up with combines being a crafter in 2 ways: Minecraft player and a crafter of content. So that's where the title comes from. Behind the crafter means that we look behind what you see on video. Who is playing? How do they produce the videos? What goes into making a YouTube channel? Is it a job? And yes, if you're making money at it, it is a job. And I will go into that quite a bit because it is very involved. But it can, of course, be a very fun job. And we'll go into a lot of this throughout the podcast with episodes on very specific aspects of making Minecraft content and through conversations with both big and small YouTubers and streamers. I want to make this about you, the members of the community. I know I spoke about myself, but I wanted you to get to know who I was and what I'm all about. Feedback from listeners can help direct the topics of this podcast, so what you have to say is very important. I'm also happy to receive suggestions about who you think should appear in this podcast. I can't guarantee anything, as some people may not be interested, or we simply can't find the time or coordinate our schedules, but I'll do my best to get some great guests. I don't want to focus on only the big content creators, but also smaller ones who are still in the early stages of their YouTube and Twitch journey, as it's great to get the perspective of the process from all levels. You may even find someone new that you've never heard of and go and enjoy their content. Your comments and questions may also appear in the podcast. I'd especially love questions about being a YouTuber or Twitch streamer, or even asking for advice. I'm also a big fan of dad jokes, so if you have a good one, I may include it in the podcast. Episodes will be out every 2 weeks, and I guarantee that we'll be going through something new, interesting, and useful every time. Now, this episode is a bit short. Actually, it's much shorter than our regular episodes will be, but this was just an introduction. For anyone starting a new YouTube channel, I'd like to give one piece of advice before we finish. Unless you already have experience making videos, your first few videos will suck. But at least you're getting experience, and that's the point. The more you make, the better you will get. Try to improve something each video, and you will become a better video crafter. But please, don't procrastinate. Actually, just make the video and upload it. And I guarantee you will feel better about it. And with that, I'd like to thank you for listening, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.